In example 3, we are choosing the best measure of center, which is what we've been practicing. When you're answering a question with the word typical in it, always figure out each of the methods for finding average, mean, median, and mode. Then look at the data and decide which of those measurements represents the answer and why did you choose that method. So if you look at page 405 in your book, they took this information with the tennis shoes and they figured out the mean, median, again, they put them in order, and mode. They then put the information on a line plot or a dot plot, and they figured out the mode is at 20, you can see the median's at 41, and the mean is 48.5. There is one real big outlier, and a lot of times, again, that changes your information. That pulls your information over toward that outlier, which is what happened in the mean. And if you remember that when we were figuring out the mean with and without the outlier, we said if you figured the outlier in, and if you look when they're doing the mean up on top, they included all of it, including the mean. Including the outlier. So that pulled the information to the right, which took us off the typical price. Median is what your typical price is because it is right in the middle. So that is what best describes the typical cost of a pair of tennis shoes. If it asked you the average of all these tennis shoes, including the $122 one, well, yeah, that's going to be your mean. But the median gives you more information on that. So you're going to do the on your own, find the mean, median, and mode of the data, choose the measure that best represents the data, and explain your reasoning. It's numbers 4 and 5. Once you do them, come back for the answer. Number 4, the mean is 67.25. The median is 51.5, and there is no mode. The median best represents the data, of course, and it's closer to more of the data because the mean is influenced in this case by the outliers. So you had some outliers there. Number 5, the mean is 110. The median is 99, and the mode is 150. So in this case, it did have a mode. The median best represents the data because the mode is the greatest value, and the mean is also greater than most of the data. So again, you're going to use the median in that case. All right, let's go with an extra example, a little more practice on that. We're going to find the mean, median, and mode of the data. Choose the measure that best represents the data and explain your reasoning. Please pause and come back for your answer. Your answers would be as follows. The mean is 66, median is 70, the mode is 85. And a sample answer to which is the best to use is the mean or the median could be used. The mode is greater than most of the data, so your typical response would not fall in that. Okay, in example 3, there is the on your own. Oh, we did that already. Sorry about that. So we are moving on to example 4. Removing, removing an outlier. You have to identify the outlier in example 3, and that is $122. You're going to find the mean, the median, and mode without the outlier. And you're going to figure out which measure does the outlier affect the most. So if you look at their example, they put mean, median, and mode in their chart. with outlier, without outlier, and they gave you the numbers to put in, which you had already figured out half of them. And if you look at the information, the mean is affected the most by the outlier and because of the difference in numbers. Simple enough. Okay, I don't think it's necessary to do the on your own for example 4. Let's move on to example 5. Changing the values of a data set. The two charts give you first one is video game prices with a shipping charge, because in the problem, if you look at your book on page 406, it says the price of each game increases by $4.98 when a shipping charge is included. So the first chart gives you the cost of the games with the shipping charge, and then the second one gives you the video games without the prices. Sorry about that. So just like in example 4, you are going to make a chart. If you look in the book, you'll see it. The chart includes the original price of the games and then the price with the shipping charge. And you'll figure out the mean, median, and mode. So once you figure that out in your chart, once you make the chart and list it all out, you compare them by subtracting and finding out the difference. And the question is, how does this increase affect the mean, median, and mode? And the answer then is by increasing each video game price by $4.98 for shipping, the mean, median, and mode all increase by $4.98. So if you're comparing the two, you are coming up with $4.98 as a difference between the two. Very, very logical, because in one chart, $4.98 is the shipping charge, and it's added to each game. Okay, now what I want you to do is number 7, keeping this all in mind, of the on your own. Chart it out, and then figure out the comparison. This should all be done in your notes. Come back to get the answer for number 7 in the on your own. Okay, the answer for number 7 is that the mean, median, and mode all decrease by $3. Yes, you could have figured this out just by looking at it, but I want you to chart things out and understand how this data affects each other. All right, at this point, what you're going to do is in your packet, it tells you what the exercises are, and the exercises are on page 407.